Hi, my name's Cathy Skipper and I'm a menopause midwife. Welcome to my channel, The Alchemy of Menopause. In this video, which is video 3 of a series of 4 videos, I'm going to be talking about the emotional body as a dimension of the sovereign woman, and I'm going to correlate that with the Queen of Cups from the Tarot. So the 2 videos before this, one was on the Queen of Swords and the intellectual dimension of the sovereign woman, and the one before that was on the Queen of Pentacles and the physical dimension of the sovereign woman. Both those you can see. You don't have to see them before this, it might be good. I did them in that order, but it's up to you. Okay, so this video is about the emotional self, the emotional body, and the Queen of Cups. And the sort of phrase to help you remember and think about this aspect of the psyche, or this dimension of the sovereign woman, is to feel is to heal. So let me just say, as I did in all the other videos, the sovereign woman is the 4th dimension of the cycles of the feminine. And so we used to have the triple goddess, mother, maiden, crone. But now, as women are living much, much longer, we find ourselves with 4 aspects, which is really good because the quaternity is wholeness. So we have the maiden, the mother, the sovereign. Some people call her the regency. Some people call her the queen, and then the crone. And it's usually somewhere around the ages of 45 to 70 that a woman is in her sovereign period, which is where she's creative, free, inspired, if she does the work, and sharing herself with the world in a very authentic way. And so we have to work on that to become a sovereign woman. And that's really what these 4 videos are about. Which different parts of ourself or dimensions of the self need to be worked on in order to become this whole beautiful sovereign woman. So to feel is to heal. What does that mean? Well, it means that our feeling self, our emotional self, is a very wise part of ourself, because feelings are triggered often by events or dynamics in relationships. And what we tend to do is we want to feel the good feelings, but we don't want to feel what we call the challenging or bad feelings. And this is really, in the modern world, even more accentuated by social media, where so much of what is available on social media is about these perfect, happy pictures of, what's going on. If you remember, in America a few years ago, there was the Gabby Petito situation where a young girl was murdered by her boyfriend in um, their van life experience of life. And they had done a YouTube channel, I think it was, or Instagram channel on their perfect van life. And it was all perfect. And this couple and all these beautiful images and traveling, but he murdered her. So the shadow was that this was not perfect at all, but we were giving this whole picture of perfectness to the world. And so we really, if we're not careful, think that it's only the good feelings that we should feel and we should repress the bad feelings. And that's not true at all, because all feelings are feelings. All they need to do is be felt. And so the phrase, which I love and helped me a lot through my perimenopausal journey, because lots of feelings come up then, is to feel is to heal. If I allow myself to feel whatever it is without judgment, just allow the feeling, not in my head. When we get into our heads, that's when we get frightened or we try and repress it. No, a feeling comes through the body. A feeling is felt through our physical self. And if we allow the feeling to come through, then whatever that feeling needed, which was to be felt, and whatever that feeling was carrying, will be integrated. It's like an onion. We take off a layer of the onion. I've spoken about this in other videos. So in terms of the emotional body, we could say symbolically the heart is the doorway to the emotional body, and not just to the emotional body, but beyond, to a world beyond feelings, to the wisdom of our feelings. And you can imagine this in whatever way works for you. But the thing that I think is important is to think of your emotions not just as random emotions in the void, but they're connected to your story, to your incarnation, to your aliveness, to your journey. And so as you allow feelings to come up, even if we can't see them with our eyes, they are a healing part of our journey. So we need to embrace them rather than resist them. And so one of the ways you can do this is to just get used to tuning into your emotional body. So you have your physical body, which you can feel grounded, connected to the earth wherever you are. Drop down into the physical body. Often invite women to drop down into their womb space, settle in, breathe. You could take a couple of deeper breaths just to get into a more relaxed rhythm. And then once you're tuning into your physical body, if there's anywhere where you feel a lot of tension or stagnation, you could breathe into it. But the real focus here is on the emotional body. So the physical body is your dense body. It's made of flesh and blood and bones. It's heavy and it's dense. And the emotional body is a subtle body that is connected and breathes with and is part of your physical body, but it's less dense. And it's the place where your emotions take seed, where they come from, where they arise from. And yes, we feel our emotions in our physical body, in our chest or our gut or our stomach, but they take seed in this emotional, subtle body. So you could just practice becoming aware of the fact that you're more than just your physical body. There's this emotional body that is connected to your physical body. And in fact, the video on the intellect or the mental body is even subtler. If we wanted to tune into it, it's even subtler than the emotional body, the mental body. And then you can notice as you tune into your emotional body, don't worry, don't try and think, where is it? I can't feel it, because your psyche knows where it is. It's there, it exists. It's just that your intellect, your ego, your mind doesn't know what it looks like or where it is. It's like you don't know what your liver looks like or where it is really, but it's there and it's doing its thing. Okay. So, one of the journaling questions that is useful to work on when you're working on your emotional body is just to ask yourself, what has my emotional body been through with me in this lifetime? What are the deep emotional challenges and journeys and experiences I've had? So you start to realize, yeah, my emotional self comes along with me on this journey of life. It's not just menopause, isn't just about your physical changes, it's a whole emotional self. And actually, due to the fact that we're maturing, our emotional self is maturing, growing, becoming wiser. And so start by just asking yourself, looking at journaling, what is that? What are all these emotional things that I've been through in my life? What have I learned from them? Are they all integrated, or is there stuff that still needs to be worked with that I've kind of pushed underground and is coming forward during this period in my life? There's a wisdom in feeling. There's an emotional intelligence in the psyche where we know things through the emotional texture or signature of the experience, not necessarily through how we think about the experience. And this emotional intelligence is a very feminine aspect of the psyche. It's connected to the physical body. So we could say that the Queen of Pentacles is very much connected to the Queen of Cups, which is the queen of the emotional aspect of the psyche. There's a connection there. So our emotions and our mind are two very different things. The emotional aspect is the more feminine aspect, and the mind is connected to the masculine principle in men and women. And as I always say, we're looking for this inner sacred union, which is the balance of these two. We can look, how am I with my emotions? Do I deny them? Do I ignore them? Do I try and push them down? Am I scared of feeling them? Or is it the contrary? Am I always crying? Am I drowning in my emotions? And there's no wrong or right. It's just reflecting, bringing awareness to how you are with your emotional body. It's getting to know yourself and coming home to yourself by allowing whatever emotion is there to come up. When I was first working on this during my perimenopausal journey, which is now 10 years ago, I would be doing something And as I became, I was working on this awareness of my emotional body, and I was breaking down some of the old survival strategies. So these emotions were coming up. And I might have been cooking or doing whatever I was doing, and I would feel like a flutter, like a little butterfly fluttering. And I knew it was an emotion sort of ready to come up, ripe, like the ripeness of a fruit falling from the tree, or the ripeness of even a boil needing to burst. It was ready to come. And instead of what had been my usual way, which was to push down the emotion and do something else, carry on cooking or listen to music or eat something or drink something or look on my screens or whatever it was that I would do to repress it, I then tried to change the pattern and welcome it. And so I would take some time out, turn off what I was doing on the cooker or whatever, and take some time out and really welcome it. And at first it was scary, but then it becomes um, actually really nice. At first it's like, I really don't want to feel this. I'm so used to not feeling my emotions. But when you allow it, at first, yeah, you'll cry. The first layers of these deep repressed emotions come up, but they're not going to hurt you. The unconscious will never give you more than you can handle. And you're peeling away these layers and layers of repressed emotions. And it's very liberating. It liberates creative energy. And after a while, it becomes easier, in fact, even pleasant. Then after a while, I'd think, oh, here's an emotion. Good. I'm welcoming it. I'm going to allow it. It feels good. So that's how we get to know ourselves. And there's a soul searching in it as well. We can journal on the emotions that come up. The soul is embodied and feminine and mixed up with these emotions. There's a wisdom in our emotions. So if our intention in this journey of perimenopause is to get to know ourselves better, is to become more whole, is to grow in empowerment, we will need to have really good quality, uninterrupted periods in our life, space in our life that we can call our own, that we're not going to be asked to, look after others, or people aren't going to be there, so we're going to try and do something for approval or whatever. We need that sacred alone time and space in order to have this communion with our feelings, with our emotional body. One way is to go out into the wilderness alone, not with people, and take a picnic, take your journal, and allow yourself to tune into nature. And then you'll start to feel the emotions that you have that are connected to the natural world. Okay, so the Queen of Cups is the archetype in the tarot that really fits with this emotional dimension of the sovereign woman. And so we can think of our intuition being connected to our emotional self, our compassion, both for ourselves. So as things come up, or we look at our ways of being in the world, instead of judging ourselves, we have compassion. Even if we've done something that we don't think it's great, or we're working through something where we're taking responsibility for our actions, we do this with compassion for ourselves. And having this compassion for ourselves allows us to have greater compassion for others. There's an aspect of unconditional love that we might not and probably didn't have as a child. Unconditional love comes up with the mother archetype, which I talked about in the Queen of Pentacles and the first of this series of videos. So the mother archetype, and whether or not we had unconditional love, we can learn it now. Unconditional love for ourselves, unconditional love for others. There's this emotional depth that during perimenopause we can learn to develop. The imaginal realm is to do with our emotional self as well. Our emotions are very much connected with these deeper parts of ourself, with this flow of something that comes through us, a deeper part of us, a soulfulness, a creativity. The heart, the emotional body, the Queen of Cups is to do also with, feminine vision. Where does the vision come from? Is it from the intellect? This is what I feel I should do. This is what I've taught is wealth and empowerment. Or does it come from the heart? Does it come from this deep emotional part of ourself, this loving, compassionate part of ourself where true visions come? And at perimenopause, I think this is very, very important. Becoming the sovereign woman is living our true vision of ourself. is living our soul's purpose that comes from this deep, heartfelt part of ourselves. We're making our dreams a reality by listening to this deeper emotional self, using our emotional intelligence to understand really what our path is in these 2 or 3 decades that we have ahead of us. And the Queen of Cups, she leads with this emotional depth, this empathy, this emotional integrity. You know women like that. They're the women you want to sit with. They're the women you want their wisdom from. And the Queen of Cups, she leads by embracing the idea that she's been guided by her heart. She's been guided by her soul, and her vision comes from her soulfulness. And it will allow her and us, if we follow in her footsteps, to become self-actualized, to become the authentic version of ourselves that we know is in there. This is how we access her. Yeah, all that to say, she can lead ahead through this heartfelt vision. We can follow her. And so I'd like to offer you a very short exercise that my mentor showed me and that I think could be very helpful for working with this heartfelt vision. So you start by just touching the top of your head where your crown chakra is, just above the top of your head. You sort of touch the top of your head, and with your finger you sort of draw a line down your forehead, down your nose, along here, over the contours of your lips and your chin, down your neck, through your chest, until you get to the center of your chest, which is the energetic heart center. And you can sort of tap on it a little bit to make sure you're there. Yeah. And remember to breathe and just tapping on that heart space. And what you want to do for this exercise is really come from the heart, not the head. So every time you find yourself going back into your head, just tap your heart area to remind you. You feel your heart. If you just touch, you can feel your heartbeat in the center of your chest. Remembering to breathe. And as you tune into it, you feel your skin and your bone of your sternum underneath your fingers, and you feel your fingers touching them. There's a sort of, both are touching each other. You're really connecting to that inner heart space. And then once you've connected, you visualize this beautiful space like the universe being created around your heart. Like everything is giving your heart space to take center stage. You can tap the heart again if you need. And as you feel the space being created around your heart, you can see your heart floating like a beautiful planet in space. It's like a planet inside your body. Remember to breathe. And this heart planet contains all the answers to any question in the world that you could have. Any question you could have, this heart space has the answers for it. But remember one thing, your heart doesn't speak in words. It doesn't speak the language of the intellect. It speaks in images. It speaks in images. Remember to breathe. So you have one question that I invite you to ask this beautiful heart planet. There's all this space around it. You're connected with it. And you're going to ask it, what is it I really want? Please show me. So this isn't what does my mind want? What do I think I want? What does the culture I live in say I want? This is what you really want from your heart's desire, from the deepest part of you. And you're asking your planet heart to show you. What is it I really want? Nothing to do, nothing to change, just allow the image to come forward. Remember to breathe and allow. No judgment, no trying to analyze the image, just allow the image to come. And once you get the image, say it aloud in words so that you concretize it. Say it aloud, what you see, whatever it is you see, say it aloud. Describe it. Remember to breathe. Don't reject any of the images, don't judge them. Just keep describing them as they come. And if you do this, your heart will go deeper and give you more images, or it will help the image that you have to evolve and to move. But just keep describing what you see. Once you've spoken it aloud, you can go back to see if there's more. And don't forget to thank your heart for the images that you're receiving. Remember to breathe and allow. Nothing to do, nothing to change. Just allow your heart to offer you. What do I really want? Please show me. Thank your heart. And you can come back to this exercise at any time. But remember, if any images come, take those images with you. Journal about them. Honor them. They're images from your heart, from your emotional self. And so we don't want to just poo-poo them or abandon them. A beautiful gift. Okay, so lots of love. If you like this work, please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget, you can get my 180-page workbook free by clicking on the link in the bio of my YouTube. I think you might have to, you'll get to the home page probably, and you'll have to scroll down until you find the link, but it's there. Lots of love.